when we won Daytona 2 years later in 2022, we always have a team meeting, before the race, day. And Andy called in on FaceTime. He spoke to all our mechanics, all our, guys, and gathered around. And he said, guys, you gotta believe. Like, and he said, I already believe. I already believe we are going to win. We're prepared. We're ready. And we are going to win. And it got everybody pumped up, And we had, out of that, the team made a little sticker right on the back of the bumper. We just put believe. And, I'm telling Andy, I'm like, hey, man, most people spend their career trying to win this race. And he's like, well, we're going to win. And I'll never forget, we still have it to this day. We crossed the finish line. We won. We were going up to the podium. I checked my phone. Andy had text. He goes, hey, man, I love you, brother. And I want you to know I always believe in you. And one other thing. We're going to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Let's talk about Le Mans, dude. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So this was our third year, attempting it. And I'll say I came into this race. I don't think you ever expect to win a race like this. I mean, we surrounded ourselves with what I think is the best team. They were the defending champions from Le Mans the year before. My teammate, Richard Leitz, who was also my teammate in Daytona when we won the 24 Hours of Daytona, he won Le Mans last year with Manthey. And when I came, back, had the opportunity to come back with Manthey and bring, first form, Richie was available to come be my teammate.
So he's won two in a row.
Yeah, so he's won Le Mans 2 years in a row, and Richie's the guy in the middle there. He's now one of the winningest drivers ever at Le Mans. He has won Le Mans 6 times.
Holy shit.
Won it 6 times. He's been on the podium several other times, but I think the winningest driver has won it 7 times.
Dang.
So he's 1 away from tying that record. But yeah, he's won 2 years in a row. So anyway, I knew like...
Now, how old is he?
Richie is just about our age.
Yeah.
He probably won't like me telling it. Yeah. He's like, he had a great response in the press conference. Like, Richie, what do you have to be to, win Le Mans 6 times in a row? And he said, well, the first thing you have to be is very old. Be doing it so many times. But no, man, Richie, having him, it's special, where I won Daytona with him. And then I was able to have him as my teammate, coming here. Man, I knew I had the co-drivers, also the third driver we have on our team. His name's Ricardo Pera. He's a silver-rated driver. We went after this guy trying to get Ricardo as our third driver, pretty ambitiously. He's been, the last couple of years, he's been one of the fastest drivers at Le Mans specifically. So, like, he's a bit of a specialist. I mean, he's a great driver. He's Italian, he's won many races and championships around the world. But at Le Mans, he's like the man on sheer speed. So, we put this team together with this race like specifically in mind. Richie's won it the most. Ricardo's one of the quickest, and then me coming in, as bronze drivers go, I've been one of the top in the world the last few years. So, any team, I don't know if you know, in the rules in Le Mans, all drivers are rated by category, and it's based on experience, right? We're all professionals, but it's based on experience. You got to have one gold or platinum rated driver. It could be either one. Platinum is reserved for like Formula One, drivers, or if you work directly for a manufacturer. Richard Leitz is platinum. You have to have one silver rated driver, and you have to have one bronze rated driver. And they're exactly what you mean. I'm the bronze rated driver. I would have the least experience of these guys on the team. Ricardo's a silver. And the trick in racing is we're all trying to be the absolute best in our category, right? If I get a little too, like, for me, if I were to ever become silver one day, I would not be very valuable as a driver because there's lots of really, really great silvers. Same with Ricardo. Like, when you go you step to that next level,
you're still on the bottom tier.
You kind of could be on the bottom tier of the next level. So every team's trying to get the absolute best bronze and the absolute best silver and the absolute best platinum, at that specific time. And I think we achieved that. I think my performance, I've been right up there in the top 3 or so bronzes in the world last few years. And Ricardo, I think, is definitely on that verge of probably becoming a gold real soon. And so we got a good combination here. But yeah, the week started like we were decent. There in our class is the largest category. There's 24 cars in the class, all different manufacturers. And we were kind of in the practice sessions hovering around the back half of the top 10, really. We were each time between like 5th to 10th. Better than the average, but dude, we were like, everyone knew it from the start. The Ferrari and the Lexus, which is actually a Toyota, but the Lexus were so fast. I mean, they had more top speed than everybody else. Their lap times were the best. Like everyone was talking about it through the practice sessions. And I mean, they were a lot faster than us, and we were pushing. I mean, we were all out, and you kind of can never tell in practice, or everyone just, or people holding back. They don't want to show their whole cards just yet, and so you don't really know. We were kind of lean. We were kind of showing it, and the talks just went into, hey, this might not be our year. Porsche won last year. This year, let's get good points for the championship. Even though these guys are fast, like we said, in 24 hours, a lot of shit can happen. A lot of fast cars can have issues and break. But our goal for sure was the podium. We thought if we executed perfectly and we made no mistakes, we would have a shot at the podium. But that was realistically the goal. I definitely wasn't calling you or calling Holmes like, hey man, this is the year, but we're going to smoke these guys. So that was our mindset, going in. And we got to qualifying. We had a good qualifying. Each driver has to qualify. The bronze has to qualify, then the silver, then the gold, and you kind of, it's an elimination style, kind of like Formula One. I qualified P3. And was really close to the top, it was a bit surprising, Ricardo did the same. He qualified P3 out of the silvers. And then Richard went with all the platinums and golds, and he was P5, but they were all like super, super close. So that was actually like the closest we had been, to the front. So that's where we started. The race was from 5th. You start where the final, where the platinums, qualify. So yeah, we started from 5th. So yeah, that was our goal. I mean, we thought the podium would be kind of the goal, but I would say we spent the first 6 hours of the race.
Well, how close? Just so people understand, it's 8-mile track.
Yep.
Okay. How close are the times from qualifying first to third to fifth?
Oh, I mean, we can pull it up, but just off the top of my head, a really fast qualifying lap time, if you're going under 4 minutes, is really fast. I want to say our pole laps were in the close to 3:55.
Yeah.
Okay. And the top, I know in my qualifying that I was P3, the top 11 or 12 were all within the same second.
Okay.
So we're within tenths, sometimes hundredths of a second.
So that's what I'm trying to, the perspective I'm trying to let everybody understand.
Yes.
You're talking about an 8-mile course.
There's 32 corners. So 32 opportunities to brake and accelerate, or not, right?
And the top 11 cars are in the 3:55 mark.
Within the same second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got it right here.
We're constantly pushing for, tenths of a second.
Yeah. So that's just so you guys that don't know racing, that's how close it is.
And we get a lot of questions. I get a lot of guys like, hey, what's the difference in a bronze like Ryan versus, a platinum like Richie? And Le Mans is a bigger track, obviously at 3 minutes. Most of our tracks are much shorter, right? But, the difference from me to Richie was probably 1-ish second. What is this? Manti, I did a 3:57.2, and Richie did a 3:55.1. Yeah, Richie was the last. Yeah. So, within 2 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's because most tracks I'm within 1 second of Richie, but that's also about a 2-minute lap time. So this is a 4-minute lap time. So here I was under 2 seconds. I was 1.9 seconds from the guy who's one of the greatest drivers in the world. So that's what it takes to be the least experienced guy. You got to still be within like 1 second of the top.
Yeah. Oh, bro, but here's the thing. How long has Richie been racing?
Oh, his whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a guy, just so we understand, I think this is important to point out. You've got a guy that's probably been racing since go-karts, okay, his whole life. And you have a guy who's been racing for less than 10 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
Who's won within, right there next to him. So like most guys will spend, this is the point that needs to be made. Most guys will spend their entire life trying to make that time up. That gap between Richie and Ryan, they will spend their entire life to make up that less than a second or 1 second or 2 seconds.
The truth is most never will.
That's how close that's how precise and close racing really is.
What I've found, what's so crazy, what I've found is, through 9 years, you can get, I can get within a second, over 2 minutes. And dude, we're talking 1 second spread out over 20 corners.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, it's less than like hundredths of a difference in the braking and the acceleration, right, in each corner, right? Obviously less than a blink of an eye.
If you were watching a video of their feet right next to each other, it would look virtually identical.
It would look identical. Yeah, look identical. And then what I've found is you can get within that second, but let me tell you, the last half a second, the last 5/10, this is what takes a lifetime.
Yeah.
The guys that do this that have dedicated their life, they've dedicated their entire life
to a half a second.
A half a second more than what someone who could come in much later in life can do it. And let me tell you, that last half second, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very, very hard.
I just think it's important to point that out, that because like as an average, I flip on the television and then there's a race cars going around the track. You don't think about it like that.
Yeah. I mean, we're going a lot of times, you watch the video back and you look at the data and you're like, golly, I'm, 1 second or 9/10. Like, where could it be? It's never in one spot or two spots. It's fractionally around, each corner. And then to be able to do that and execute it, like we said, over an entire hour with tires changing, fuel changing, weather changing, temperature changing, that's 1 hour.
Yeah.
Then times 24.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's that's where the skill set comes in.
So we start the race.
I can break down pretty soon. This was honestly a pretty straightforward race. When it's kind of going your way, it's kind of going your way. We spent the first 6 hours, I would say, in the top 5, and kind of. I don't want to say cruising.
You ran 4-hour stint.
Yeah, I
to start the race.
4 hours in a row. I did the only quadruple stint in the entire race. No one else did a quadruple stint. I'll say it wasn't planned that way. The plan was for me to run a triple, which that's about.
It's pretty hard.
That's pretty hard, and a lot of guys, most guys will run double stint, so like 2 hours at a time. It was planned for me to do a triple. My physical fitness has been strong, I'd say, compared to most other drivers. So it's been a strength of ours. And they knew the more I could drive towards the start saves our fastest drivers for the end and saves them more fresh, right? So they called me at hour 3, and we were hanging around that top 5, and they're like, "Hey Ryan, how are you feeling in the car?" I'm like, "Man, I'll be honest with you, like I'm feeling pretty good." Like it's fun when you see see the leaders and we're doing well, and I'm like, "Man, I feel great. if it helps, like I'm good to do another one." And they said, "Let us come back to you." And they rummaged around, I guess, for a little while. And they came back like, "Hey man, if you're okay, like it would be a big advantage if you could do, 4. And so, man, if it's an advantage, let's go. And I did it. It was awesome. We gained a lot of space there. And what that did, that set off, I think, what it eventually helped us win the race.
Yeah.
A lot of the other teams, as we got towards the night, they had to put in their bronze drivers in because they were running their faster drivers early, where we put in our, platinum, and silver drivers against a lot of their bronzes. So that enabled us to jump up quite a bit. And then the next thing that did a big difference was the nighttime. I mean, the night at Le Mans is some of the most difficult. You can ask any driver. I mean, it's not like Daytona, the 24 hours of Daytona. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. It's not easy, okay? But as far as driving in the night, it's extremely well lit. It's damn near the daytime. I mean, all the big, from the speedway, you've got all the lights from NASCAR, and it's basically like driving in the day. Let me tell you something. The backcountry roads in the Midwest of France are not well lit. Like my first year when I went out for the first night practice, I came out of the pit lane. The pit lane, it's all lit up. So it's like the racing track there. So it's like Daytona. It's all lit, and you go the first 3 corners, it's all lit. And then you merge out onto the Mulsanne Straight. And this is where you leave the racing track and go on the country roads. And I was, radio silence for a little while, and I'm driving down the Mulsanne Straight. I went to the first chicane, then I'm on my way to the second chicane, and I called on the radio, and I'm like, guys, it is dark. It is. I can't explain to you guys.
Is this supposed to be this way?
You can watch all the video. Like, we have video. You can go on YouTube and watch it. My videos are on YouTube right now. You can watch, my laps and stuff at night. And you have oh yeah, it kind of looks dark, but it'll probably be okay. Like, bro, what got me is that, we have headlights, but the headlights, obviously they shine in front of you, right? Well, when you're on a racetrack and you're about to come to a corner, the front of you's fine. You can see out there, but all the time, like during the day, you need to see where you brake, but then your eyes are going to the corner. So let's say it's a right-hand corner. Your eyes are going over to the right, looking for the apex. Well, bro, it's pitch black, dark, so you're braking and you look and you're like, I think we turn now. Yeah. And, so you turn and then the headlights move and they're like, nope, too early. Further. So you have to, it's nothing but time. You have to develop time, and you have to look at things on the road that you can see like right in front of you to give you visual clues of where the turn-in spot is. You can see the break points. Like you recognize signs and different things on the road to where you know where you have to brake. But the turn-in point, this has to come from just muscle memory and feeling and stuff. So anyway, back to my original story. Driving at the night is very difficult. Most bronze drivers don't drive at night. Most teams, they drive their bronze drivers a little bit in the day at start, and then they put in their silvers and their platinums to go back and forth all night long. And then when the sun comes up the next day, the bronzes go in, when the sun is back out. I drove those 4 hours to start. That helped get us ahead. And then I drove, it gets dark kind of late there, around 10 o'clock at night. Actually, it's the summer solstice, so longest day of the year. I drove going into the night, so as the sun was going down, I drove from 10 to about midnight, where no other bronze driver was out there then. And I came out for just a couple hours, and I went back in at 3:30 a.m., and I drove from 3:30 into the sun coming up. Sun comes up kind of early, around 5:30. So I did like it was a triple stint that went into the sun. And again, no other bronze driver was out there. We were in the top 3. Both those times we were in third, second, first. And like the team was on the radio, like, Ryan, your pace is doing great. Like the Ferrari had caught me. We were in second. The Ferrari caught me. It had their platinum driver in it. And they're like, Ryan, this is the platinum. Don't risk anything. If he's faster, just don't fight. Let him go, because they still have to do like 4 hours of their bronze driving time.
We'll catch him.
And you're done in the next hour. Like so I did the most driving at night, which ended up being like a major step forward, because then when the sun came up, I was done. Like I had completed I have to drive like 7.5 or 8 hours of the 24. I was done. And every other team still had their bronzes, had to come in. And bro, we went straight to the front. We passed for the lead when the sun was coming up. And then we led the entire rest of the race. Yeah. So
which is a huge advantage, because it keeps you out of the shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, leading is always better.
Yeah.
And in the back, but yeah, that's pretty much how the race went.
So, dude, what was it like? When we won? I mean, I know what it was like because for me, but what was it like, dude?
Man, I had a similar feeling in Daytona, but when, we were leading, we had a big lead, but you're constantly counting down every minute, every hour. And the factory Ferrari was in second, and they were the only car towards the end of the race that really had the speed. They were the fastest since we had turned up. And man, I'm like, golly, if anything happens to the car, and this Ferrari is super fast. And but we had this kind of manageable about 1 minute lead, that we just kind of managed all the way through. So you're obviously worried about something just like by chance happening to the car, or a flat tire, or a mechanical issue. But our car was perfect, the whole time. Again, back to that preparation work. But dude, I would say the last stint for Richie, which was right at an hour, like probably 50 minutes to go, we did our final pit stop, and our engineer was super good on the team. He's talking to the pit crew before, Richie was coming in for the final pit stop. It's like, guys, this is the last one, for the whole 24 hours. Make sure every wheel gun is perfect. Fuel man, make sure, test the fuel flow. Make sure it's perfect. Take your time. We're normally trying to do it as fast as we can, right? He's like, we have a 1 minute lead.
We gave up at like what, 30 seconds?
We gave up almost 25 seconds because he said, take your time, make sure the wheels are torqued. We even added a bit of oil to the engine we didn't have to, just a precaution, took our time with the fuel flow, looked over the car, and then set them out, so we lost some of that minute lead, but on purpose, right? Just keeping everyone calm. But I was there with my son was sitting right next to me, my oldest son, and my wife, Whitney was there. My dad was in the garage, Justin, and man, dude, I couldn't stop shaking my feet. I'd stand up, sit down, walk around, go back up, drink an energy drink. I mean, like I'm pacing.
Because that always helps.
Yeah. Like, this will calm me down, But dude, it was awesome. I mean, I'd never thought, we could win this race. I mean, just to come and compete in it, is one thing. But when he crossed the line, I mean, dude, the garage erupted. I lost it. I was hugging my son and my wife, for me, it's like, you dedicate your life to, perfection. And we all want to be perfect, right? We're all trying to leave a legacy and for me, having my son there, that it's my hope, like seeing his dad do something at that level. Dude, as a dad, it hit me, and like no one can ever take that away from us, right? We're in the history books.
No, bro, your name is etched in history.
Yeah. All those posters like you have in your garage.
Yeah, we'll have that.
There's going to be a poster of our car, right? Now. So, man, it's hard to put into words, but
it's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. And you sent me the screenshot. You were like, by the way, from back in 3 years ago, that we were going to win Le Mans. You were right again.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, look, winners win, bro. And I think people think there's a magical element to it, and I don't think that's what it is at all. I think it's being meticulous and relentless towards whatever it is you choose that you want to go towards. And I don't think that success in business or success in racing or obviously there's limitations, a 5'1" person is highly unlikely to be the MVP of the NBA, right? But outside of that, I really think it comes down to like just an obsessive commitment to achieving whatever it is that you've decided you're going to achieve. And it's not I'd kind of like to do this. Yep. It's an obsession.
Yep.
And for you guys listening, I can't articulate the amount of hours that Ryan and I have spent on the phone talking about winning this race. I mean, over the years, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah. Yes.
And, to see you do it, bro, it's one of the coolest moments of my life. I can't imagine what it's like to actually have done it, and to stand out there on that podium with 100,000 people.
I'll never forget that. I mean, I haven't rewatched the TV yet. I hope they showed it and I hope it did it justice. When we walked out on the podium, it's an F1 style podium that's elevated, And when we walked out, they opened the track up after the race for all the fans can come down, like on the front stretch. And
there was no end to them.
Bro, it was as far as I could see.
Yeah.
Wall-to-wall people. I mean, the race is one of the most highest attended sporting events in the world, right up there with Indy 500. And I think it's like 370,000 people or something. And it looked like they were all right. They were there, And you talk about, for me, I mean, for like you and this company, you guys believed in me like at a super early stage when I was just starting out and racing. And I can't tell you the amount of pride to stand up there We had some Screaming Freedom, energy drinks with us, and we didn't know if like the officials were going to try to take them from us or whatever. So we kind of snuck them in our suits, like as we went up. But to stand there like with the can, wearing our hat, with our logo on top of the podium at, without doubt, one of the world's largest takeout racing.
Yeah,
it's one of the world's largest sporting events.
Yeah,
it for me, it was that Super Bowl type of moment, right? And to be able to do that when I walk back in this building, too, and see all these employees and all these team members, same with Mountain Motorsports, our motorcycle dealerships, the amount of pride, that we were able to, help create for all of these employees, customers. How many customers that have reached out and like, dude, we've all loved First Form, or we've loved Mountain Motion, but like now we know someone who's won, I mean, it's a tremendous amount of pride.